Over the next week, we're tackling another item on the budget pole barn build while also dealing with some intense weather. Stay tuned per usual. At the end of this video, we'll break down the complete cost of this project.
We are back working on our pole barn and we are finally going to install running water to the barn. So that'll include 400 feet of 3/4 inch poly pipe, one valve box for our shutoff, a few of these quarter turn garden spigots, and 2 of these frost-free yard hydrants. And lastly, we're going to be using a ton of fittings.
And speaking of fittings, we are using the Apollo brand Barb insert blue twister poly pipe fitting along with the Apollo stainless steel poly pipe pinch clamp. I know that's a mouthful, but all the details for these items used will be listed below.
So one thing I like to do is lay out all my fittings exactly how we're going to be laid out underground. To me, this makes it a lot easier because in between each of these fittings, I know I just have to run the black poly pipe. Now, speaking of pipe, there is a couple different options if you're going to bury this underground. Now, if you're going old school or doing repairs, you're probably going to see some PVC pipe schedule 40. This is the thicker stuff. You can bury this underground, glue all your fittings, but in this day and age, a lot of people rarely do this unless you're running like an outdoor sprinkler system. Most people are going to run with your black poly pipe. We're running 3/4 from our junction at our main supply to the house. 3/4 will be plenty enough to run what I need around the barn. Now there is another black poly pipe that kind of gets confusing out there. This is 100 PSI black poly pipe. It's a lot thinner wall. You can bend it. It's a lot more flexible. This is more for your outdoor sprinkler supply like I was talking about. The 3/4 inch poly pipe that I'm using is 200 PSI. So double check your thickness. If you're going to spend all the time burying all this stuff underground, you want to make sure you get the right pipe. So now we have to go find our water supply that runs into our house. We're going to tee off that and bring that out to the barn. When I installed this water line, I did install a tee on it already, and then I capped it off with one of these crimps. So let's see if I can locate it and come close with this guy. Start digging and see what the chances are that that's where it is. As you can see, we're on the 3rd hole now. Not sure if the metal detector is not working or I don't know how to use it. Well, I found the water line. It is considerably deeper than I thought. We're probably 2 feet down. So we got some digging to do. So we've dug a ton of holes, and not only have we not found the tee that we were looking for our barn supply, we found another issue, and that issue is we have a water leak. So I'm throwing in the towel. I'm done digging these holes by hand. So we rented an excavator. We're bringing in the big guns.
Yeah, so this really had me scratching my head. Every hole I dug with a post hole digger by hand, I found water in the bottom, and then I just went on a mission. I had to find this leak. So we used the excavator, luckily, to dig about a 20-foot trench right alongside of the pipe, and wouldn't you know it, we found the leak.
You've got to be kidding me. Houston, we found the problem. Good news and bad news. We don't have a water pipe leak, but we do have a leak. Wow. What's happening is our groundwater, because we've had such heavy rain in our area, it's pumping up through the ground and it's creating a little bit of springs. And that spring that we found that I thought was a leak is kind of an issue for when it rains. We don't want that spring pumping up, filling up our water line trench and going into our house. So we're going to cover all this back up, and then we're going to get our valve box in, or our tie-in for our barn water. And then after a couple months, when this gets dried up enough, I'm going to do a big basin down here with a French drain and make sure when this happens again, this rainwater, we can direct that water back there to our dry riverbed, because that's where it needs to go. We don't need it backing up against the foundation on the house. So right now, luckily with this excavator, it made quick work. I got my son in it now. He's covering back up the few inches on top of the line. We'll get that back in gently, and then we'll just start packing all this back in and getting that tee on a water line.
So earlier I dug about 10 holes to try and locate the tee that was originally installed for our water access. And wouldn't you know it, with one scoop of the excavator bucket, there it is. I finally found the T that we were looking for to tie in.
Now I know this looks like a giant hole, but keep in mind I filled this up with rocks and made it twice as big. That way my main drain for the barn line, when winter does come through and it does freeze, I can drain it and the ground will absorb all the water instead of there being a standing puddle. So now we have all our materials ready to go. We have all our big access points dug and prepared, ready for tomorrow. We're done with the excavator at this point. The next step is going to be getting the trencher tomorrow. I like to save the rental equipment for a full day, get all the job done up until I need that piece of equipment because it's so pricey. So tomorrow we're gonna go get the trencher. We got the trencher and we have it for 4 hours. We have to get busy. We're going to focus on just laying the pipes. I'm not going to get too concerned with making all the connections now. I'll leave about 2 or 3 feet at each junction, focus on laying the pipe, get them covered. We'll get this piece of equipment back and then we'll do all the fittings.
Yeah, so like I mentioned, rental equipment is really expensive these days. It's gone up a lot the past couple of years. So I really try and plan my project around this cost. I'm renting this piece for $280 for about 4 hours. So I try and get all the small stuff done and then just leave the trenches just for that window so I can just use the equipment, get it done and get it back. And again, I'll have the full cost of this project at the end of the video. So we finished up just in time. Now we're gonna lay our 3/4 inch poly pipe, and this definitely takes a few hands. Luckily, I have my boys here to help me roll this stuff out.
So a couple days ago, we got all our water line laid in the ground in the trenches. Now we're gonna do our connections. This is our main water line going to the house. We're gonna tie in this 3/4 inch supply. I'm sure it's gonna drain a decent amount of that residual. Now this is my connection I'm using right here. This is 1 inch poly transferring to 3/4 inch. Before I put the fitting on, I'm gonna put a couple of these pinch clamps in place. For backup, I have some squirrel clamps or twist clamps.
You saw me using my flame torch earlier on the pipe. That is one magic trick for this poly pipe. It gets so stiff and hard to flex, especially when the weather's cold. And then another trick is use it right before you go to crimp your pinch clamp. It'll help secure that so much better.
Now we're gonna start working on our valve system for the barn. The first thing we're gonna install is a water shutoff. That way we can pressurize our main line coming to the barn, make sure we don't have any leaks, and then everything behind this, we'll be able to turn it on and off. For our shutoff valve for the barn, we're just gonna use a plain full turn twist style valve and the poly connectors on each end. Before we do this, we are gonna seal up the threads, and I like to double down and use the thread sealing tape and some pipe dope. Bleed this air off and we should get some water. That's good flow too. I didn't think that 3/4 inch pipe this long, it's about 200 feet, would have that much flow on it, but it's looking good. So we got water at the valve shaft. So now we're gonna build this valve assembly. And because it's so cold outside, I'm gonna build it right here on the table.
Now this is the easy part because you're out of the trenches per se. I am measuring mine because I want my tees or my pasture supply break-offs of the main valve to hit the trenches that we already dug. Now we're just going to install this whole assembly and then tie in our lines to our blue tees that go left and right to our pasture supplies. Once we get everything tied in here, we're going to install our frost-free yard hydrants.
Couple tips on these. Your valve assembly is located inside this brass piece. So this is your bleeder or drain valve. When you turn your handle off, which it has to be located in the off position for it not to freeze, the valve closes down here and then it drains all this water that's in the pipe into the ground. This is why this brass piece has to be buried in some gravel to drain and also below the frost line. Now the threaded end on the bottom of these frost-free hydrants is a 3/4 inch, so you do have to get some kind of adapter if you're going to 1 inch or 3/4 inch poly. We're going to 3/4 inch poly, so we got this 90-degree elbow, and then we have a barb. Then we have our barb adapter to transfer it to a 3/4 inch poly. So we're gonna get this all taped up and sealed and get it in the ground.
That completes the yard hydrant install. Now we're going to add a line for utilities inside the barn.
Sorry guys, it is like 24 degrees out here and my mouth is like frozen, so we are pushing through this.
We buried this one water supply under the ground inside the barn. There will be a finished floor here eventually, so instead of putting a fitting, we're just going to heat it up and bend a 90 directly into the pipe.
And that'll just be some reassurance under the concrete floor, so we'll never have to assume that we possibly have a leak under our finished floor. Everything is complete. We're ready to turn the water on and check for leaks. So quick recap. Here is a 3/4 inch water line coming from the T that we installed on our house supply. We have our shutoff valve right there. It goes up, it tees off into a drain. The reason it's a PVC ball valve drain, it's just they're a lot cheaper. They're a couple dollars versus like 12. So a couple tees. This feeds our front pasture. It goes up. This feeds our back pasture. This one right here goes into the barn, and it feeds the spigot, the garden spigot on the side of the barn. And this is going to be the water supply for the rest of the barn, utility, kitchen sink, etc. inside. So everything is hooked up. I'm going to open this drain line right here to bleed all the air once the water charges, and then we'll see where we're at. So we got water coming out of our drain, so we'll close that up, let the rest charge. Everything is sealed up. Luckily we have no leaks. Now we're going to install our valve box. We're going to position the height on this, and because we've added about 8 to 10 inches of gravel, we have some room to take it up and down in elevation. So I'm going to set the box about where I want, and then I will dig out from under all these pipes, press my piping down, make sure it's as deep as I want it, then we'll start covering everything up. Also helps me adjust the height. My valve box is a lot easier, and now I can just go back. All right guys, that's it. We are done. Now we got a covered valve box. Look at that nifty little box with our main valve right there accessible, and a drain for the whole entire barn. So that finally completes this job after several days. Unfortunately, the yard is still tore up. We're gonna have to wait till springtime until some grass seed can grow. We'll throw out some seed, level it out better, throw some hay out. But like always, let's go over the products and the full build cost of this project. So the first thing we got is our poly pipe. We got 400 feet of this 3/4 inch poly pipe. This was right at $400. The next thing we had was all of our fittings. Now with our fittings and even the garden spigots and also the clamps we used for these connections, we spent right around $100 for this stuff. And that's also including your pipe cutters and your crimping tool that you're gonna need to run this. Third, we had our valve box that was right at $20. That's off Amazon. And again, everything's gonna be listed below. Then we had our equipment rentals. Now we did rent the trencher, that was $280. We also rented the excavator, but since that was more for finding our water leak and not necessarily running new water, I'm not gonna count that, but that was $200 as well. So without the excavator expense added up, the total cost for this project was right around $600. And again, thank you guys for watching. All the products will be listed below in the description, and we will see you next week for another project.